Howdy, guys. This is Attorney Walter, not Disability Resolution PA. So right up front, I just wanted to say to you guys, happy, amazing Thanksgiving. I hope you've had just an incredible time. I hope you had some really great meals. I know that I saw in some of the comments, people were really excited about the meals they were having. I know some people weren't really excited about the meals they're having because the cost of food, I get it. Let's get right into the purpose of this video. I had an idea. It was actually a lot of ideas I strung together to go ahead and create this idea of passing basically bills that would increase Social Security benefits for the retired, for the disabled, etc. Nanny Anderson, howdy. And what the idea was that I had two targets. You need the great weight of the presidential pen to usually do things. And I knew that since we keep repeating the promotion of passing the SSI Restoration Act, the Social Security 2100 Act, but yet it never happens. The Democrats are fully in control of the House and the Senate, but yet it's not happening. I had a plan, and the plan was through Vice President Harris. And I also had a plan for Trump's team as well. But there's a problem, and I didn't think this was going to happen. Apparently it's happening. I had to cross-check it against other websites to see if it was reality. I think this is going to hurt benefit increases. I think this is going to hurt essentially when it comes to like fourth stimulus stuff. I don't think this is good. Let me tell you what's going on. So I checked Washington Post. I checked the New York Post. Biden and aides are telling allies he is running in 2024 amid growing Democratic fears. However, you go over CNN Politics, apparently Kamala Harris is frustrated with President Biden. Biden is frustrated with Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's go over to Washington or New York Post. Biden gives Harris cold shoulder at DC soup kitchen after reported tensions. Apparently, there's a problem here, guys. And the issue was that I had a plan. Why do you guys get excited about this? Like, why don't you write Bernie Sanders? Well, I could take a rock and throw it against the wall, and that would actually be more effective than writing a letter to Bernie Sanders. If I were to write an updated version of the bill and send it to everybody, that's a plus. If I were to go ahead and create a change.org account that would actually get a ton of people to sign it, get people pushing forward, that would help. If I were to create a nonprofit that specifically showed people who were disabled who to vote for to get the benefit increases to occur, that would be about, a lovely 16 million people just to SSI and SSDI, not even including the VA vets that are disabled. So these are all real things. Writing a letter to Biden, writing a letter to, it could have been anybody. It could have been Pelosi, could have been Schumer, could have been anybody. Bernie Sanders is the usual one that you see YouTube accounts doing. It's useless, totally useless. I know their YouTube accounts are literally hooked into the administrative staff of some of these other, House reps, senators, etc. But as you've probably noticed, all their promises about the $2,000 Thanksgiving, stimulus, the gobble gobble stimulus, or the $1,400 fourth stimulus that's coming tomorrow, all turned out to be total junk and fake. Let's go into what my plan was. My plan was to basically set up Kamala Harris with modified bills that were better than the original bills created, and then let her present those as if it was her thing as part of essentially a program to get people on board with her, get people excited to ramp up, and then get Biden to go ahead and notice, allow it to push forward, and then use his specific presidential pen to basically get it rolling forward to get it voted through. I was going to rewrite, and I'm still going to rewrite, the SSI Restoration Act and the Social Security 2100 Act and do the math behind it, and then see if I could get Stephen Goss on board to go ahead and review, which is the chief actuary with the SSA. That was my plan for the Democrat side. My plan for the Republican side was to figure out the Pegasus unicorn thing of what President Trump was talking about, which was he was going to get rid of he was going to get rid of payroll taxes, which would benefit workers, obviously, and then pay for Social Security benefits from the regular taxes that we have, which is probably possible. I started to play with numbers, and it actually might be possible. At first, I thought it was insanity. Then I thought it was even worse than insanity. And then I realized it's probably doable. So, I'm trying to hedge here. But my plan for the Democrat side, so now I have to rethink of how I'm going to be doing this. Let me walk you through what's going on. President Biden, this Washington Post, November 20, 2021, so a couple of days ago. President Biden and members of his inner circle have reassured allies in recent days that he plans to run for re-election in 2024 as they take steps to deflect concern about the 79-year-old president's commitment to another campaign and growing Democratic fears of a coming Republican return to power. The efforts come as the broader Democratic community has become increasingly anxious about a bruising 6-month stretch that has seen Biden's national approval rating plummet more than a dozen points into the low 40s. I've even seen it below that. Amid growing concerns about inflation, Democratic infighting in Washington, faltering public health efforts to move beyond the COVID-19 pandemic, the message is aimed in part at tamping down the assumption among many Democrats that Biden may not seek re-election given his age and waning popularity, while also effectively freezing the field for Vice President Harris and other potential presidential hopefuls. My goal was that if I couldn't get it through this year, couldn't get it through next year, couldn't get through the next year after that, I still have 2024, and I could have basically had Harris use this as a big thing to push it to get people through. Because, you got to hedge. You got to have a plan for the Democrats. You got to have a plan for the Republicans. What I realized is that whole plan, that whole idea, it's not going to happen. And here's why. I'll take you right over to this. President Biden did not originally intend to run for 2024. He even stated that. Now, which means that obviously VP Harris would be the natural pick. Now we have a kicker, a problem, if you will. Here we go. CNN. This was updated at 9:04 a.m., put through Thursday, November 18th, 2021. CNN, worn out by what they see as entrenched dysfunction and lack of focus, key West Wing aides have largely thrown up their hands at Vice President Kamala Harris and her staff, deciding there simply isn't time to deal with them right now, especially at a moment when President Joe Biden faces quickly multiplying legislative and political concerns. It's bad. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but the legal side of this whole thing, it's bad. It's really terrible. He's facing a lot of legal issues, even beyond just being president now. Okay, the exacerbation runs both ways. Interviews with nearly 36 former and current Harris aides, administration officials, Democratic operatives, donors, and outside advisors who spoke extensively to CNN reveal a complex reality inside the White House. Many in the vice president's circle fume that she's not being adequately prepared or positioned and instead is being sidelined. The vice president herself has told several confidants. She feels constrained in what she's doing politically, and those around her remain wary of even hinting at future political ambitions, with Biden's team highly attuned to signs of disloyalty, particularly from the vice president. So what's happening is this. Biden now wants to run for 2024. He's now sidelining Harris. And if he feels any potential problems from Harris, he's going to start picking out his new VP for 2024 to have a new run, a new whatever. And I don't know what Harris added, if it was that massive an amount of voters for the 2020 based election to 2021. But the bottom line is he could dump her in this situation. All of this does not help with stimulus money. He's worried about his own skin right now. He's worried about staying on top 2024 election, running, and then beating Trump. Trump, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he's reaching like demigod status. He's almost going to be beyond Pope status at some point. He has that deep of a following. I don't think I've ever seen a president with a following like that. It's very, very, very entrenched. And I mean, I understand some of the things he's saying, and I get it. And I understand why they're supporting him so much, because he announces a lot of freedom-based options. And it's a lot of looking at America as a unit and how it can succeed and be successful against these other countries. I read another article where America was no longer the richest nation in the world. China had now overtaken it. And this was, I think, from Bloomberg or one of those mega financial groups. So I'm worried because at the end of the day, we kind of have like a problem here. We don't have a president that's focused on the American people, which is why we have this for his, popularity. He's going up against a president that is largely growing in popularity, but we don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to be very straightforward with you. 2022, it's a bit, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Both sides are saying that they're going to win. The blue side saying the blue side is going to win. The red side saying the red side is going to win. Although, to be fair, I think realistically, this is showing us something else is going on. Now, we all know the White House, whether it was Trump in there or Biden in there or the Obamas, or we all know at the end of the